Prince Harry paid by ABC America to suddenly come on speak on camera for an exclusive interview. That, of course, was aired around the world, garnering once again a lot of headlines, a lot of, shall we say, interest in the ailing Invictus Games. This is all about raising money for, of course, the Games in a year's time, and this particular soft soap interview really did make and was instrumental in making sure that Harry came off in the very best light. But not everything went to plan. As ever, let me explain. Morning, how are you? It's Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. Yes, it's always lovely to have your company, whatever you're doing today. And as ever, thank you so much for taking the time out. It's fascinating, isn't it? As I often say, when you dart up and around London and you pop into those historical places and you think, Winston Churchill walked through here. And you know, he would have walked through the same door and everything. Do you notice this? Everything sort of seems less glamorous than when you watch it in black and white. Is it the thing about monochrome? I don't know whether you want me in black and white. It might look more glamorous, yeah. No, but you know what I mean? Everything just seems more glamorous when you watch it on the TV. Is it because you're not there? Yeah. I don't know. Interesting, isn't it? Back as ever to your royal story of the day. Harry making a return, offering his services. What was the true story behind this latest bombshell? Well, what's interesting about this? Two things really, let me tell you. ABC News very much did, in fact, offer money to Prince Harry, but not on a personal level. You'll hear this first and exclusive here on the show. They made a sizable donation to the Invictus Games because obviously they hope to cover some element of it in a year's time if it ever truly gets off the ground with the backers and all that sort of stuff. And really what was interesting was the way that this particular cosy, relaxed interview looked very much relaxed, ad hoc, and, you know, all chums and laughing together. You know, the sort of thing. But what was interesting was in the original run through, and yes, there is a bit of a chatette beforehand to sort of say this is what they're willing to talk about, what they're not willing to talk about, that type of thing. Well, according to that particular source, the thing that Harry was more than happy to talk about was returning back here to the United Kingdom to offer his assistance to the British monarchy, should it be required. Now, here's where it gets really interesting because, as ever, we have to say allegedly. ABC, Good Morning America, could not believe their luck at this particular inclusion in this bombshell. Now, was it discussed over here in the United Kingdom? According to, as ever, a well-placed source, they wouldn't have had the time. It certainly wasn't up on offer. Perhaps I'm surmising, and this is my estimation of this, that Harry wanted to bring that up in the conversation, but as we now know in that short tenure, that meeting with His Majesty the King simply didn't have the time. Or indeed, you know, the king wouldn't have had the inclination. Let's not forget, this is a man currently going through his own personal battles. So Harry decides to put it out there in the world's media. The world's media pick it up, and then of course, bingo, perhaps, yes, maybe, even Prince William might suddenly reach out and say, fancy covering the BAFTAs for me. No, not just you and Meghan. Now, this is a very clever marketing move by Harry and Meghan's team. And it has to be said that so far it's been met with a wall of silence, which, see, it works in his advantage really. If the monarchy don't invite him back, or indeed don't offer to take up the fact that he's offering his assistance in the absence of His Majesty the King, or indeed a very busy Prince of Wales, well, he's offered and nobody wanted him. Once again, the narrative falls back onto the poor me. Either way, whichever way you look at it, this was a masterclass in spin to get people talking about Harry, and more importantly, whether he could make a return back to the British monarchy. The consensus over here is the royals don't want him, and if you look at the polls, neither do the British public. How about the Commonwealth and the rest of the world? As ever, do let me know in the comments below, and please like and share. Neil Sean, Dorchester, Park Lane, London.